All right, so get ready, because today we're diving into a world that honestly feels like something straight out of a sci-fi movie.
Oh,
AI on the battlefield. We're
hmm.
talking robots fighting right alongside soldiers, maybe even making, life or death decisions.
It really is fascinating to see how this isn't just some like far off fantasy anymore. I
Yeah.
mean, the Army University Press even published a whole study on it. It's called Developing Readiness to Trust Artificial Intelligence Within Warfighting Teams.
Okay, so we have an actual study to dig into here.
Oh, it's packed with insights. It's
But
incredible.
this isn't just about, like, drones, right?
No, no,
We're
no.
talking AI that's actually, like, integrated into combat units, like working shoulder to shoulder with human soldiers.
Exactly. Yeah. And the study starts by like breaking down AI into two main types.
Okay.
First, you've got artificial narrow intelligence, or ANI.
AI.
Yeah, and this is like the AI we have NW, think Siri or Alexa.
Gotcha.
Good at specific tasks, but, not generalist.
Okay, so ANI is like a specialist.
Right.
What does that actually mean for soldiers on the ground then?
So think of it like having this like super advanced tool on your team.
Uh-huh.
It can process information way faster than any human can, analyze terrain, maybe even operate weapon systems,
Okay.
and all with incredible precision.
That sounds kind of like trusting a tool more than an actual human teammate.
In a way, yeah, you could say that.
Okay.
But here's where it gets really interesting.
Right.
The study also talks about artificial general intelligence, or AGI.
AGI.
And this is the type of AI that can learn, adapt, and maybe even like understand really complex concepts.
Oh, wow.
Things like strategy or even morality.
So AGI is like the AI we always see in movies, the kind that, like, could potentially out-you-think us.
Potentially, yeah,
Right.
exactly. And that's where the whole question of trust becomes even more crucial.
Yeah, because how do you build trust with something that might be, like, smarter than you are?
That's the million-dollar question, right? And it's one of the big ones the study tries to answer.
Okay.
And they look at trust from like two main angles.
All right.
First, you've got what they call truster factors.
Yes, there are factors.
Yeah, basically things about the individual soldier that, influence their ability to trust,
Oh, okay.
like their personality, their risk tolerance, their past experiences, that sort of thing.
So some soldiers might just be, like, naturally more inclined to trust AI than others.
Precisely. Some might be more skeptical. It just depends.
That makes sense.
Then you've got what they call situational factors.
Okay.
And these are things about the AI itself that can like impact trust.
All right.
So can it prove that it's competent?
Yeah.
Does it communicate effectively?
Hmm.
Does it seem to share the same goals as the human soldiers? Things like that.
So if an AI, like, consistently performs well in combat, maybe even saves a soldier's life, that could build trust over time.
Exactly. Yeah. It's all about building that track record. And the study even talks about this idea of like benevolent concern.
Benevolent concern. What's that?
So it's basically the AI demonstrating that it puts the needs of the humans first.
Oh, interesting.
Like, imagine a robot sacrificing itself to protect its human squad mates.
Wow.
That would have a pretty powerful impact on trust, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely. That's pretty intense.
Okay.
So what's the Army actually doing to get soldiers ready for this kind of, future?
Well, they've created this, like, AI task force
Okay.
specifically to explore these very questions.
Makes sense.
But the study goes even further. It recommends some, like, specific steps to build what it calls trust readiness.
Trust readiness.
Yeah, and education is key here. Soldiers need to really understand what AI is, how it works, and, its potential limitations.
It was like learning to work with a totally new kind of teammate.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a whole new paradigm. And it's not even just about, like, trusting the AI itself. It's also about trusting, the people who designed it, the
Right.
people who deployed it, and, like, the whole chain of command,
Uh-huh.
the ones ultimately responsible for its actions.
Yeah, that adds a whole other layer to this, doesn't it?
It does.
It's not just human-robot interaction anymore.
No.
We're talking the entire military structure having to adapt to this new reality.
Exactly. And that's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
Because the study brings up this idea of algorithmic bias.
Algorithmic bias. Okay.
Just like fascinating concept that AI systems can actually inherit biases.
Inherit biases.
Yeah, from the data they're trained on.
Hmm.
Like, think about it.
Okay.
If the data used to train an AI is, flawed or biased in some way,
Right.
the AI itself could end up making like biased decisions,
On the battlefield.
especially on the battlefield.
So if like an AI system was trained on data that mainly shows one type of enemy,
Right.
say soldiers wearing, I don't know, a certain uniform.
Yeah.
What happens if that AI encounters an enemy that like doesn't fit that profile?
It's a good question.
Like civilians or even, I don't know, allied forces.
Yeah, it might totally misinterpret the situation.
Right.
And make a, really dangerous decision.
That's a
Scary thought.
That's a scary thought.
It is.
It's like the AI could make mistakes.
Yeah.
That could have like huge consequences.
Absolutely.
Devastating consequences, yeah.
And that's precisely why this whole conversation about trust is so crucial.
Okay.
I mean, we need to be able to trust that these AI systems that we're, putting out there
Deploying, yeah.
are not just competent,
Uh-huh.
but also fair and impartial.
Right. So how do we actually ensure that?
Yeah, is the big question.
Like, how do we prevent these kinds of biases from creeping into the AI systems in the first place?
Well, the study really emphasizes the importance of having like diverse teams
Okay.
of developers working on these systems.
So like a diverse group of people building the AI.
Yeah. Yeah, the more perspectives we bring to the table,
Right.
the less likely we are to create AI that just reflects, a narrow or biased worldview.
It's like we need to be thinking about like the ethics of AI development.
Yes.
Right from the start.
From the get-go, yeah, not just like an afterthought.
Absolutely.
And it's not even just about like diversity of gender or race.
Right.
It's about diversity of thought, of experience, of expertise.
Right.
We need people from different backgrounds, different disciplines, different walks of life,
Yeah.
all working together
Okay.
to ensure that AI is developed responsibly,
It's interesting because we often think about AI in the military as just this like purely technological advancement.
Yeah.
But it seems like it's really making us confront
It is.
some pretty fundamental questions.
It is.
About ourselves as humans.
Right. Like, how do we define trust
Yeah.
in the context of AI? You
Yeah.
know, how do we make sure that it reflects our values,
Right.
our ethics? These are questions we can't just leave to the engineers
No.
or the scientists.
Right.
We need to be having these conversations as a society.
Okay, so we've talked about trust, bias, ethics. It feels like this whole AI in the military conversation goes way beyond just the tech itself.
It really does.
Like, what about the actual impact on the battlefield?
Yeah.
How will AI actually change how wars are fought?
That's a huge GE question.
It is, yeah.
And there's no, like, easy answer.
Right.
Some experts believe that AI could actually make warfare less destructive.
Oh, okay.
You know, for example, you could use AI-powered drones for, like, recon missions.
Yeah.
That would reduce the need to put, human soldiers in harm's way,
So AI could actually save lives,
potentially.
like by taking humans out of the like most dangerous situations.
That's the hope, right?
Yeah.
And it's not just about, like, reducing casualties.
Okay.
AI could also really improve the, like, precision of military operations, so you'd minimize collateral damage. Right.
Civilian casualty.
That'd be a huge shift.
It would.
Yeah.
Moving away from that kind of large-scale, indiscriminate warfare.
Yeah, that's defined so many conflicts in the past.
Exactly. But it's important to remember that, like, AI is a tool, right?
Yeah.
And like any tool, it can be used for, good or evil.
Of course.
It all comes down to us, how we develop it, how we
Yeah.
deploy it.
Yeah.
That'll ultimately determine whether it makes warfare, more or less humane.
Almost like we're at a crossroads, isn't it?
It feels that way.
With this technology that could, like, reshape the world.
In such profound ways, yeah.
Yeah,
And it's up to us to decide what kind of future we want to create.
it is.
That's a great way to put it, actually. We need to be having these conversations now,
Yeah,
before it's too late.
absolutely.
We need to be thinking critically about the implications of AI,
Mm-hmm.
not just for the military, but for, like, society as a whole.
For everyone, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so where do we go from here?
What are the next steps in, getting ready for this AI-powered future?
Well, like we've been talking about, education is crucial.
Yeah.
We need to be educating not just soldiers, but, like, the general public
Okay.
about the potential benefits and the risks of AI. We got to have these, like, open and honest discussions
Right.
about the ethical implications
Yeah.
of this technology.
So it's not just about training soldiers to, like, you see AI.
No.
It's about engaging everyone, society as a whole,
Yes.
in a conversation
Yes.
about its role in our future.
Absolutely. And it's not even just about talking.
Okay.
It's about, taking action.
All right.
We need to be investing in research,
Uh-huh.
in development,
Yeah.
that prioritizes safety, transparency, accountability.
Okay.
We need to be developing like clear ethical guidelines
Right.
for using AI in warfare.
It sounds like a multifaceted challenge
It is.
that requires a multifaceted approach.
Precisely. And it's a challenge we can't afford to ignore.
We can't.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about trust, bias, ethics,
Yeah.
the potential impact of AI on the battlefield. Where do we go from here in our deep dive? Feels like we're only just scratching the surface here.
Yeah, you're right. The study, really dives deep into these, psychological aspects of trusting AI in warfare.
Okay.
And one of the most, intriguing things it touches on is how soldiers might actually, perceive and even interact with AI on an, emotional level.
So we're not just talking about, cold calculating machines.
Mm-hmm.
There's, a possibility for some kind of human connection
Exactly.
with AI.
Yeah, the study cites all this research
Okay.
on how people respond to robots that, exhibit what we might call emotions.
Okay.
For example, they found that people were way less likely to turn off a robot. That seemed, distressed.
Oh, wow.
Or even, pleaded not to be deactivated.
Wow. That's fascinating.
It is, right.
And a little unsettling.
Yeah, a little bit.
But, on the battlefield, wouldn't that kind of emotional connection with AI actually be, beneficial?
That's actually what some researchers think.
Oh, okay.
The idea is that if soldiers see AI as more than just tools,
Uh-huh.
if they feel a sense of, camaraderie
Right.
or even empathy, it could really strengthen unit cohesion
Okay.
and just improve teamwork overall.
Yeah, I can see that. It's like the bond that soldiers often develop
Yeah.
with their canine unit.
It's a great analogy.
Right.
But there are potential downsides too,
Of course, yeah.
Imagine a soldier hesitating to make a tough decision.
Right.
Because they're worried about the feelings
Yeah, the feeling.
of their AI teammate,
Yeah.
or becoming so reliant on AI
Okay.
that their own judgment, decision-making skills, they get eroded.
Right, yeah.
It's a delicate balance.
It is.
The study doesn't give us any easy answers,
Of course not, yeah.
but it raises some incredibly thought-provoking questions.
It does. It does. So how do we even begin to prepare for this kind of future?
Well, the study, it really emphasizes the need for ongoing research and just open discussion.
Yeah, we got to keep talking about it.
Exactly. We need to understand the psychological implications
Right.
of human AI interaction.
Okay.
We need to develop ethical guidelines
Right.
for AI development and, deployment.
Yeah.
And we need to train soldiers to operate effectively in this totally new kind of battle space.
Almost like we're writing the rule book as we go along.
In a lot of ways we are, yeah. And that's exciting and a little bit daunting.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I got to admit, I started this deep dive
Yeah.
feeling like I was stepping into a sci-fi movie.
Right.
But now it feels more like a glimpse into our very near future.
It does, doesn't it?
It really does.
That's the power of a deep dive like this. It forces us to confront these emerging realities and start asking the tough questions,
We got it.
before it's too late.
Exactly, yeah. So what's the one big takeaway you want our listeners to walk away with today?
The future of warfare, it's changing, rapidly.
Yeah.
And AI, it's going to play a defining role.
Absolutely, yeah.
But it's not just about the technology, it's about us, the human factor.
Right.
How we adapt, how we trust, how we make sure that this technology, it serves humanity,
Yeah.
not the other way around.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that even in this age of AI, the choices we make,
Yes.
the values we prioritize,
Exactly.
they'll ultimately shape the future we create.
You got it. And those are choices we need to be making consciously, thoughtfully, and together.
That's a powerful note to end on. If you're listening out there, we want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on the future of AI in the military?
Yeah, tell us.
Head over to our social media pages and let's keep this conversation going.
Until next time. keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.